This episode, we'll be discussing what happens when a property goes up for sale.
I like to be educated, but I'm so frustrated. Hello to my loneliness. I guess that ignorance is bliss.
Welcome to Parkstone at Home, a podcast where we talk property, home and living in Queensland, Australia. If you own property or are interested in investing, or if you're like me and are currently renting, then this is a podcast for you. As always, I'm Hayley, Marketing Director, and I'm joined by Elizabeth Jackson, owner of Parkstone Property and local Mackay entrepreneur.
I wish I knew.
How you going, Elizabeth?
Hi.
Hi. Welcome to episode 7. Do we want to get started with our icebreaker milkshake cup?
I picked it last time, so how about you go? They look like, some of them look like straws.
I know, it's thematically appropriate to the milkshake cup.
It is.
I thought this through. Okay. Oh my gosh, please. If animals could talk, which one do you think would be the rudest?
Oh. Look.
The rudest.
The rudest? I mean, do you remember Grumpy Cat?
Yeah.
He didn't even have to say anything. You just looked at him and he looked grumpy. Hey, so that's kind of rude.
I have this thing with like male lions that really annoys me
Oh.
because I watch a lot of nature docos and male lions do this thing where they'll just like wait for the female lions to go kill something and then they'll take it.
Uh-huh.
They didn't even do any work. So I don't know about rude, but I feel like they're just really obnoxious. They give like, do you know what I mean? They give
like just a male
Ken.
tendency in some ways anyway, across
Mojo
any...
Dojo. I mean, I hope not, but like that's probably why it annoys me so much. Like she did all the work and you're going to eat the food and not give
the
her any.
female lions, they're go-getters. They get out there, they get it
do.
done.
I love female lions.
Yeah.
The male ones do nothing and then they eat all of the prey. So that maybe, I don't know.
Maybe for you. How many docos are you watching? And studying. Imagine your algorithm.
Well, that's just like the one thing I remember because it really annoyed me.
Yep. Yeah. The rudest. Do you know what? I reckon the rudest animal would be the smallest.
Real, like chihuahuas.
Yeah. Oh. Chihuahuas for sure. But I feel like...
Is that what they're called?
No, they're chihuahuas, but I just say it how it's spelt and how it looks.
I've never heard that before.
Chihuahua. I mean, when you look at it, that's how it... Yeah.
Oh, God.
You know how sometimes the smaller things are, the more...
Concentrated.
Yes, and they overcompensate for their size.
Yes.
So I feel like...
I do that.
Like, you know, a little mouse
Yep.
could be incredibly rude and obnoxious because, like, you're in my way.
Real.
Instead of just going around, they
That's
want to
true.
make a scene. They want to be heard.
Yep. No, I can see that.
I feel like they could be the Karens as well of the world, of
Nice.
the animal world.
They are so cutesy though.
Yeah.
You know what? It's Disney. Disney has made us think that they're cute,
Oh, yes.
but really they're not. I reckon.
Disney has a lot to answer for in terms of like princesses.
Anthropomorphism. Yeah.
Okay, that's a big word. I don't even know what that means. What does it mean?
Oh, like how they make what am I trying to say? They humanify animals.
Oh, yes.
Like they make them talk and walk and
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But Disney princesses and the princes coming and sweeping them off their feet, like it's a damsel in distress.
Oh yeah.
I grew up with that. So, you know, I kind of expect men in my life to do that. My children, they've got a lot to work on to get to that. Children, if you're watching this.
Disney prince status.
Yeah.
This is way off topic now, but I'll say this one thing.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people saying that like Kristoff from Frozen is actually one of the better sort of male representations.
Okay.
Because of he does like a little bit of that sweeping off her feet, but he more is like actually like a good model for good relationships and stuff. I don't need to get into that, but like
I feel like that whole movie though Frozen 1 and Frozen 2, it's all about females being the main character, main character energy, and being independent, doing things for themselves. I've only watched the first one, and it was when my children were a lot older. and I made them sit down and watch it with me because I kept hearing all about it. They weren't interested at all.
No. You got 2 boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the boys weren't interested in that Disney stuff. But, okay, well, that's good to know. I think Disney has to evolve a little bit. There's the classics.
I think it needs to stop making live-action remakes and start coming up with some real original ideas. Yeah. I'm tired of it. There's a billboard right down the road for the Snow White live-action coming out.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the Disney movies was all about the cartoons. It was never a real action. No. Yeah.
But anyway.
Go Disney.
That's the rudest animal. What's the word on the street, Elizabeth?
What did we talk about for this one?
I have written down
valuations
for the first one. What's a valuation?
So, and the second one is sales appraisal.
Yeah.
So they are 2 very different things. They're not the same. A valuation is provided by the bank, and they look at things like land size, square meterage of house under roof, and then compare that to other like properties in the area. So that's actually using actual data from the property, size, land size, that kind of thing. Sales appraisals is a lot more open. It's more about features of the property. Yes. And it's on market trends. Right. So something down the street could have sold for $50,000 more, but it has a pool, but yours doesn't. Yeah,
but the valuation doesn't care about the pool.
No, not necessarily.
There you go.
So it's very, very, it's open to interpretation a lot more. So it's easier for a sales agent to give you, or various sales agents giving you various different appraisal ranges for what it's worth, or what they think it could sell for. What it's actually worth comes from your bank or comes from the council. So on your rates notices for an owner, it will say what your land is valued at.
I see.
And that's what banks also use as well to a degree.
So what's the one that matters to the owner?
It does vary.
Both?
Sales appraisals generally are higher than what a bank values it at because it is on the market. Yeah. So that's what most owners go for.
Yeah, well, that's what you'll actually take home in your pocket, right?
Correct.
Maybe if you sell it for that.
Yes.
But right.
Yeah. And that's the one that's more fluid. So if you put the property on the market for, say, I don't know, 560,000, if you've got 6 buyers, it could go up to 640,000 because they're all competing. Yeah, multiple offer situation.
Yeah.
I don't delve too much into sales, but that's a whole nother world.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, a lot of owners prefer to look at sales appraisals rather than the bank valuation.
There you go. Yeah. I did not know that. That's the word on the street. So, your property, you're living in it, or you're the owner of it, and you decide to put it up for sale. What does that mean for all the parties involved?
Okay. So, from an owner, you've chosen to put it on the market for whatever financial reason.
Yep.
There's a few things you've got to take into consideration. 1, who your agent is. 2, what does that mean for your tenant? And what tenancy fixed agreement they are on, because that will determine your target market. So if you've got a tenant that's moved in and they've only just moved in, you cannot put that property on the market for the first 3 months of their tenancy. If you do, the tenant can up and walk away with no financial penalty on them because you've changed the ball game for that tenancy.
That seems fair.
Yeah.
Is that even if it's a 6-month lease?
Yes.
So that's like
doesn't matter the tenancy. Yeah. And if you put the property on the market for sale in that first 3 months.
What if it's a periodic?
Periodic is like a really dirty word in property management.
Periodic.
Yeah. Because it's really, really uncertain. The tenancy laws have changed around a periodic lease agreement in terms of you can only give notice to leave on a periodic lease agreement if the property is on the market for sale and you require vacant possession, which then extends your settlement period unless that new owner wants to take on that tenant for a period of time and sign a new lease. If you change the use of that property, if there's major renovations that you need to do, you can no longer just give them a notice to leave because you don't want them anymore.
I see.
So then that means you have to have a reason to why you want them to move on.
Yep.
Otherwise, you need to get them onto another fixed term agreement and then give them a notice to leave.
Right.
Whereas before, if you're on periodic, you could just give them 2 months notice and they'd have to go.
See ya.
Yeah. But now the tables have changed a little bit. It's a little bit more tenant orientated in that sense. The tenant, if on a periodic lease, can give 2 weeks notice at any time.
And just leave. Yeah, that's the benefit of that. Yeah.
But you're leaving it way into the balance of power is way on the tenant then.
Yeah. Which
most owners don't like. Because they have no control of the situation.
So in terms of selling the property, you can, is that the notice period you have to give 2 months?
Yes.
For a periodic?
Yes, if it's for sale.
And does that first 3 month rule apply to that?
On a periodic?
Yeah.
Well, it's a periodic, so it's no start date and no end date.
Right,
so you can go on at any time. But no tenant will move into a property on a periodic lease. No agency will allow them to do that. It will have to be a fixed term agreement, a start date and an end date.
Right.
So periodic only happens really after a fixed agreement
and then you're rearranging.
Expires, and then it just rolls on to a periodic if it's not managed properly. Right. Okay, so getting back to your question.
Yeah.
If the owner wanted to put the house on the market, what does that mean for all parties involved?
Yeah.
So he or she would have to engage, they would have to engage an agent. Then that agent would then need to get in contact with the property management team that look after the property.
Yeah.
The agent has to fill out a Form 10, which is a notice of intention to put the property on the market for sale. The property manager needs to sign that, and then that needs to be sent to the tenant. And then the tenant is then notified it is going on the market. The agent will then contact the tenant, discuss open homes, discuss the campaign to sell the property and what that means for them. Like that may be we want to do 1 open home a week and we want to do potentially 2 private inspections with just 1 couple, for example, during the week. The tenant has got rights when the property goes on the market. They can dictate to some degree when they want people to come through. Tenants also have to remember, though, that when the house is going on the market, it's the owner's property at the end of the day. They have to facilitate and be cooperative to allow agents access to do their job, to sell it. But they also need to keep in mind that if it's a good investment property and it's getting a good yield, so good rents per week, there's a good chance an investor will look at that. There's already a tenant in place. Let's say there is a fixed term agreement still in play, but it's outside of that 3-month period. And they've got, say, another 9 months left on it or 6 months left on it. Whoever's buying it has to take into consideration that there's still a tenancy there. So they can't move into it straight away if it's an owner-occupier. But if it's a good investment, that investor will most likely keep you on if you're cooperative with the agent and allow access, allow videos to be taken, like a walkthrough video so they can see what it's like.
Yeah.
See how you're looking after the property as a tenant as well. If the property's not in great condition or you're not looking after it very well, that's going to then go back to that investor and they're going to look at it and go, well, 2 things. That property managing agency isn't looking after that property very well because that tenant's got a whole room has got newspapers in it. Or there's the dog inside. Look at that in the video, the walkthrough video. Oh, the dog's inside, but it's not meant to be inside. Oh, hang on, are they supposed to have a dog? Or if owners are not expecting the properties to be, and agents are not expecting the properties to be like a Better Homes and Gardens layout or anything like that. We want you to live in the homes and fully utilise the homes, but also care for them and be presentable. So it does mean a tenant might have to tidy up a little bit more to allow people to see the bare bones of the property or see the potential if it's a renovator's delight or something.
Yeah.
So a potential investor will look at them and go, okay, they're actually good tenants. They may even ask the property manager, are they good payers? How do they go with looking after the lawns? Or how do they go with paying their water bills and things like that? So there's lots of things that an investor can look at. So it's in the tenant's best interest to be cooperative. If you're not, then it can actually work against you. And because there's no guarantee of who's going to buy that. There's heavy investing going on in Queensland at the moment because New South Wales and Victoria are just way too expensive for anybody to even crack into the market. Same with WA. Adelaide's a bit the same, or South Australia. So people are looking towards Queensland because you can get more bang for your buck in Queensland. the further out of the CBD that you go, the suburbs outwards. But then also, you've got your first home buyers, but then the rent vesting comes in as well. We're going to see a massive trend in that.
What is rent vesting?
It's when somebody rents themselves but invests elsewhere. So the usual, the Australian dream was you buy your first home and that becomes your principal residence. Yeah. Then you can build equity in that and then you go and buy an investment property maybe. Yes. Or you use that equity or you just buy another house because you've outgrown that one because your family's grown. Yeah. A lot more people now are using not buying principal residences because where they want to live they can't afford. And they don't want to live out in the burbs and have to spend an hour and a half in the car getting to work. Yeah. So they buy out in the burbs where it's cheaper. They can get good rental yields and then they rent in town or they rent in flashier places or better suburbs because they can, because they're building equity in a property that they're not even living in, but they're renting.
Interesting.
So it's paying itself off in theory. Yeah. And they may only have to pitch in a little bit of money towards that mortgage. Yeah. And then they're renting themselves in having a lavish lifestyle. So the Australian dream has gotten a little bit skew-iff now because affordability is so much harder. Yeah. And it's unattainable for a lot of people. Yes. But that's a whole nother conversation. Oh, yes. With a mortgage broker, because I only know bits and pieces. Do your own financial research, please. I'm not.
Yes, we're not financial advisors at all.
I'm not in Waken saying you have to do that.
By God. Yeah. No.
Disclaimer, but in terms of, for tenants, we just don't know who's going to be buying that property. So, but if you're not working with the agent and you're being really difficult, that makes it very hard for an investor to go, okay, I'll take that on. Yeah. I want to keep those tenants. Yeah. Same with the presentation of it. Yep. If you think, I'm going to make it look terrible because then it won't sell and then I can still stay here. Look, if you've got a fixed agreement, you're staying there anyway. Yeah. Unless they pay you money to ask you to move out, because they have to offer you some kind of compensation. So there's always that option as well. Oh, do they? If you're looking at an investment property or you're looking to buy and you're an owner-occupier and there is a fixed-term agreement on a property, you don't necessarily have to wait for that agreement to end to give them or close to expiry and give them notice to move out at expiry. You can actually offer them a financial incentive to move. Oh. So if you said to the property manager, look, I will give them $5,000 to move out earlier or by this date. Yep. Then that's called a way of mutually ending the fixed term agreement. If everybody's in agreement, it's law. That's fine, yeah. It can happen. Why not? Yeah. If everybody's in agreement. But if the tenant doesn't want to move, they're not going to take your money. Yeah. So things to take into consideration if you are looking at an owner as an owner occupier and you're looking at a tenanted property, there are those possibilities. Anything is possible with money.
Real. Absolutely.
Yeah. But most tenants may not move even with that financial incentive because they might be comfortable there. They may have their kids in school down the road or
they need that time to
or they may not be able to find anything either. So that's the other difficulty too because everything is so much tighter. Properties, there's more competition. That properties aren't staying on the market as long. Rents are higher, whereas they're fixed in that amount per week for the next 6 or 9 months, whatever's left. But it's definitely in best interest. So something I do at Parkstone is I haven't had any of my owners sell because they've all just recently purchased and they're not looking to sell, touch wood, anytime soon because I don't want to lose them. I've got great owners and I've got great tenants as well. But if an owner did decide to sell, then I would, with that Form 10, I would send that myself because usually it can be sent from the agent as well, but that's relinquishing control to the agent and hoping that they send it and hope they're nice to the tenants. Whereas if I send it, that it's coming from me. They already know who I am. They've already had dealings with me. Yep. We've built that relationship and that rapport. I would ring them and say, hey guys, I'm really sorry. Your owner's decided to sell. It's okay though. I'm sending you the Form 10, which I'm obliged to do. The owner's obliged to do that by legislation. So we're just dotting our I's and crossing our T's. Yep. But what does that mean for you as my tenant? This is what it means. Yep. And it also gives me an opportunity to talk to the tenants about don't be a pain in the butt and say, no, you can't ever enter the property, because you're making that agent's job harder. Yeah. You're then going to get the owner offside because they can't get anybody through the property. You know, be open to letting somebody walk through your house. You don't necessarily have to be there. Just have that conversation of what it means for them, what they can and can't do, and cooperation is really, really important for them as well as for us. And then we leave it to the agent to do their thing. But I always leave it open. If there's any issues or you've got any questions, sing out. Because sometimes too, tenants, when they've been in a property, they might be in a position to buy, and then they go, oh, well, we really like it here. Maybe the owner would be looking to sell it to us. What
that would be a really perfect situation, hey?
It is a perfect situation. Sometimes it doesn't always work, and sometimes too we have those situations before it even gets to a sales agent, because when I talk to my owners, or Louise, my property manager, when she talks to owners 2 or 3 months out from a lease renewal period, the owner may go, oh, look, we're looking to sell. You are? Cool. Would you mind if I talk to the tenants, because they might be in a position to buy it? And then we've already had that conversation, when the tenant actually receives that Form 10 of notice of intention to sell, they already know it's coming.
They know it, yeah.
Yes, it's not great that they're going to have to potentially move maybe at the end of their lease, but it may work out that they do want to buy it. Or they may decide, yeah, look, we're really not loving it here. We actually are looking to move at the end of our lease. Yeah. Would the owner be happy if we'd started looking earlier? Win-win situation, because the owner could potentially sell it vacant possession if those tenants find something else.
Would that be then a break lease?
No. So if then again it becomes a mutual agreement if the owner agrees. Yep. Anything that's agreed upon is a mutual agreement. Right. And it then just becomes, okay, we agree to vacate, or we just write up a document, get everybody to sign it, and make sure everybody's all on the same page. It's really not a complicated situation. Yeah. I know it can be very frustrating for tenants, especially if they have okay, let's look at the situation or the scenario if the owner puts it on and you've just moved in, like it's 2 weeks in, and the owner decides to put it on the market. You could move if you want to, but then you're going to have to come up with another 2 weeks rent and 4 weeks for the bond, so 6 weeks in total. Yeah. You've just moved into this one. I can understand as a tenant you would be really annoyed at that. I would be too. But you just don't know the circumstances of why the owner has to sell in the first place. They may have held on to that property for 14 years and now they've looked at the market and gone, hey, I've got incredibly good rent now, but I need to free up some finances because I need to buy a new car, or I need to invest in my superannuation, or my mum's gotten really sick and needs to go into an aged care home and I need to free up some funds so I can pay for her to go in there. I'm going to have to sell. So there's so many scenarios or so many reasons why somebody sells the home, and
it's not always just I hate these tenants and I want to kick them out.
That's right. That's right. If it's not always, look, and I get it. It's tough being a tenant. It's one of the risks you take renting a property, in that you can be given notice for the expiry of your lease, regardless. It might go on the market for sale, or you may have had a really bad tenancy and you've been in arrears a lot. And unfortunately, that's just part and parcel with renting. Comes back to being responsible tenant, or responsible adult as well. But there are many reasons why you may have to move. Yeah. But unfortunately, it's the owner's property. They have that say. It's not you. Yeah. Yep.
Fantastic. Well, did we have anything else to add about properties going up for sale?
I suppose the last part is if and when it does sell, what does that mean for you as a tenant? Not a lot. Yeah. So you just keep paying rent until you're told not to. Yep. If it changes managing agents, they should reach out to you and tell you that it's going to change to someone else.
That's if you're staying there.
Yep. If though it's selling and you have to move out, then it does become a little bit more messy in some ways. There's a lot more moving parts. So if you were moving out at the end of your expiry and somebody was moving straight in, obviously the same vacate procedure happens. So your vacate inspection is completed as usual. We don't just go, okay, the property's sold, you guys move out. And we're not going to do a vacate inspection. We're not going to do anything like that. We're just going to give it back over to the new owner in however you've left it. You've just moved out. That's not how it works. You've still got to clean everything. If you've got animals, you've still then got to do your flea and tick spray, have carpets cleaned, give it back the same condition that you got it in.
Yeah.
Obviously minus fair wear and tear, depending how long you've been there.
Yeah.
But if you're still living there and it's sold during your fixed term agreement, reach out to your property manager and ask. More often than not, the agent will keep you informed. They may, even if there's a signboard out the front, they might have an under offer or a sold sticker on it. That's your cue to ring them and ask, okay, what's going on?
Yeah.
Is it still managed by this agency?
Yeah.
Or is it going to somebody else? What do we have to do?
I move out at the end of my agreement?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it does change hands, so that's one thing that an investor looks at as well, is how that property is maintained during the tenancy and how it's presented for sale. If your property is not well maintained, the investor may look at that as a reflection of the property management team as well. And then they may go, well, they're not on top of things. Like there's a leak. Look, the guttering's all rusted, or that dog's inside, or, these tenants have got a lot of things inside. And they may go, well, we don't actually want that agency anymore. It just goes to, like, they look at it and go, well, they're not managing it very well.
Yeah.
The lawn's 6 foot high. Why would I buy it? Or why would I still use them as well? When this is how they present a property. And I know it's outside of property managers' realms, or we can't control how a tenant presents the property at an inspection for sale. Yeah. But that's where that conversation comes into play, when that Form 10 is being issued to the tenant, of having that conversation of, look after it, because then the investor, if it's an investor, they may keep you on. Yeah. There may be a rent increase, but they may keep you on because you're already here, saves all the extra costs. So if you show them that you're a good tenant, there's a good chance they may let you stay or renew your lease agreement. Yeah. But in terms of sale, it's not just the tenant that's put on notice there. It's also the property management team as well. Yeah. Because if you haven't been managing it effectively, or the rent's super low, and a proactive investor is going to go, that is too low. Yeah. You guys are not on market with your rental prices, and it could have been 12 months prior that they increased the rent last by $20, but it's still $140 off market now. They're going to go, well, these tenants, it's going to take me longer to get them up to market because I can only increase rent every 12 months. Yeah. I don't like them as a managing agent because they're not proactive for their investors, keeping it on trend or on par with everybody else. So there's so many things. It affects so many people when a house goes on the market that I don't know that a lot of property managers even look at that. You need, as a property management team, you need to look at ways to retain what you have, especially now because everybody's number crunching and they're making sure that they are getting the most for what they're paying, which you should be giving them anyway. That's just my opinion, personal opinion. But also, you look at the maintenance of the property as well. That's why it's really important as an investor to maintain your property so that when you put it on the market, you don't have an offer coming in that's lowballing your advertised offer and they list off, okay, the roof is leaking, the gutters all need replacing, the property needs restumping, there's a fence, the left-hand fence is falling over. They look at all of those and look at a dollar value and say, okay, that's going to cost me probably 80 grand. I'm going to offer you 80 grand less because now I have to do all of this work to the property. So there's benefit in keeping things maintained so that you get better sale price when you go to sell it because you've maintained it.
Yeah, it's just a thinking ahead. Yeah. Really, yeah.
It is, yeah. I think that covers everything.
I think it does, yeah. I think it makes sense.
It's unfortunately properties going on the market now is going to be more and more common. Yeah. And people being displaced because it's changing ownership through a sale, that's going to become more and more common, unfortunately, which is then in turn potentially going to drive the demand. There's going to be more tenants than there are houses like we have now, but it's going to get worse because there's not enough new homes being built to replace the ones that, and people having to downsize, they're getting out of the market, getting back into it again. They're just replacing one for one, whereas you've got, one sells, but they've already got their home somewhere else and they're selling their investment. That's one home that's gone to a first home buyer. Then you've still got the tenant that's displaced. So it's 3 parties for one house. Yeah. So Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Very messy.
It is. But there are ways around it, and it's just being transparent from property manager's point of view, being transparent with your owners and with your tenants, and then it'll play out and all work out in the end.
Yep. Yes. Doing our best.
Yeah.
Too easy. All right. Well, thank you for tuning into this episode of Parkstone at Home. I've been Hayley.
I've been Elizabeth.
And if you can't get enough of us, you can stream the podcast on Spotify or wherever you find your podcasts. And make sure that you follow us on socials at Parkstone Property, where we post shorts from these recordings and other updates from the agency. And we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.
I wish I knew